At the lively port of Lucan, Ganesha enveloped Leah in a tight embrace, exclaiming that she had deeply missed her adorable Rhea. Leah, struggling to breathe, protested that it hurt and called it child abuse. Ganesha, chuckling, apologized and loosened her grip. Leah, momentarily dazed, gazed downward, her mind drifting to the moment she was transmigrated into this world. She recalled a blinding light that had engulfed and erased her, silencing the sounds of her original world. When she opened her eyes, her former reality had vanished without a trace. In the distance, the Red Garnet adventure team engaged in a heated discussion. Ganesha expressed reluctance to involve a child like Leah in Deculane's plans, stating she couldn't take on such a job. A teammate retorted that she shouldn't have accepted the task, teasing that she had been swayed by Deculane's charm, and warning about the steep cancellation fee. Leah, observing them, thought to herself that the people before her seemed familiar. She realized that the characters and stories she and her team had tirelessly crafted were now standing before her in reality. Meanwhile, the teammate, battered from a recent scuffle, vowed to exact revenge. Ganesha approached the girl, greeting her warmly and introducing herself as an adventurer named Ganesha. She asked if the girl was Rhea. Rhea, confused, processed the situation. The name Rhea, Ganesha, the Red Garnet adventurers, the warm air, and the scent of nature. She wondered if she was truly inside the game she had helped create. With a mix of realization and apprehension, she confirmed that she was Rhea, acknowledging that this was how she became Rhea, a character from her own game. The scene shifted to the vibrant streets of the coastal city. Two children, Leo and Carlos, darted through the crowd as Ganesha called out for them to stop running. Leah walked alongside Ganesha, noting in her thoughts that Ganesha was this world's greatest adventurer. Staring at her, Leah resolved that to survive, her best strategy was to stay close to Ganesha. She was determined to endure and find a way to return to her original world. In the grand halls of the Deculein mansion, Deculein carefully opened a delivery box, announcing with quiet satisfaction that it had finally arrived. Inside, nestled on a white cloth, lay a magically glowing wand. Lokelok's Yukline wand. Information: a dedicated wand crafted by master artisan Lokelok for Deculein von Grahan-Yukline. Category: Wand. Special effects: stores 500 mana. Acts as a supporting circuit, naturally enhancing the performance of cast magic. Material trait: crafted from ironwood, harnessing the wood's natural abilities and properties, deemed the finest among wood materials. Automatic learning: aids the caster in independently understanding their magic and optimizing its use. Aesthetic: item. Its exquisite design adapts to the user's attire, shifting colors to complement their outfit. Deculein, gazing at the wand's radiant activation, thought to himself that it was beautiful, his trait of aesthetic sense stirred by its elegance. He noted its unique item trait, marveling that it even possessed such a quality. He reflected that the Yukline bloodline imbued the wand with extraordinary power, capable of exorcising or expelling demons. Holding the wand, Deculein mused that its original cost of 9 million elni, which is around 6,390,000, had seemed steep, but now, having received it, he recognized its value far exceeded the price. He thought it possessed the beauty and performance befitting a relic, a masterpiece of both form and function. In both the manhwa and novel, Deculein receives a custom-made magical item crafted by the master craftsman Lokelok, or Rokelok, which he greatly admires. While the scenes share similarities, they diverge in the item's nature and the context of its delivery. Key differences: first item, type and characteristics. Wand, manhwa. The wand is an elegant relic-like item emphasizing magical prowess. It boasts a 500 mana storage capacity, enhances spell performance, and adapts aesthetically to its user. Its description highlights sophistication and power, making it feel like a coveted artifact. Cane, novel. The cane serves similar functions, mana storage and magical enhancement. Its design feels less ornate, prioritizing durability and functionality over the wand's refined elegance. Delivery context: manhwa. The scene is concise, with Deculein already holding the box at his mansion. The focus remains on the wand's reveal and Deculein's internal admiration, with minimal external interaction. Novel. The delivery is more elaborate, featuring an adventurer from Berkt delivering the package. This adds world building, showcasing adventurers handling mundane tasks like deliveries and Deculein's brief exchange with the delivery man. So, what do you think, readers? Would you choose the sleek, powerful wand or the sturdy, practical cane? Butler Roy knocked on the door, announcing that dinner was ready. Deculein, turning toward the door, responded that he would head down shortly. In the dining hall, a lavishly set table brimmed with an array of gourmet dishes, more extravagant than usual. Deculein, seated and pensive, remarked that he had heard their finances were strained and questioned the reason for such a bountiful spread. He directed his inquiry to Yariel, seated across from him. Yariel, with a huff, explained that they needed the energy to overcome their challenges and that she had instructed the staff to prepare the feast to boost Deculein's spirits. Roy, standing attentively beside Deculein, added that they had sold the antiques as previously directed, noting their popularity. He shared that at the auction house, every item had attracted bids immediately upon reveal, a success attributed to discreet handling of the process. Roy continued, explaining that he and Yariel had felt as though they were dreaming, as the sales had generated more than enough funds to secure the estate's finances for years. He presented the lavish dinner as a gesture of Yariel's gratitude. Deculein, visibly pleased, commented that it was good. Yariel, caught off guard by his rare compliment, responded casually, trying to mask her surprise, which softened the atmosphere. However, Deculein soon pointed out that Yariel was holding her knife improperly. Yariel, exasperated, retorted with frustration, breaking the calm with her outburst. The final bid for the flower vase was no less than 21 million, which is around 14,910,000. Of course, it would only be between 13 and 15 million elms, after deducting commission, tax, and other fees, but it was more than twice what Deculein expected. Later, in Deculein's office, stacks of paperwork cluttered the desk. Deculein, his expression one of frustration, muttered that the situation was an absolute mess, cursing the uncouth nature of the original Deculein. As he sifted through the documents, he focused on preparing for the upcoming midterms, dedicating significant effort to crafting exam questions. To gather ideas, he reviewed past test questions submitted by the original Deculein, only to grit his teeth in exasperation. He remarked aloud that the questions were impossibly difficult for debutantes, reflecting the arrogance of the original Deculein. In his thoughts, he lamented that, as the high and noble Deculein, an accomplished mage, he felt despair at the sheer hubris embedded in those questions. He noted that one could judge the original Deculein's personality solely from the questions, presuming that Deculein had mistaken excessive difficulty for his own superiority, resulting in such impractical challenges. Determined to differ, Deculein resolved to create good questions, ones that would challenge students through their process, instill pride upon solving, and foster understanding among young magicians. He reflected that, as a professor, his actions could critically shape the growth of these budding wizards. Placing a hand on his chin, he contemplated questions that would spark both intellectual and emotional growth. His gaze fell on a closed box, the last to be examined. He wondered aloud if its contents would yield anything useful. Upon opening it, his eyes widened in surprise. He exclaimed that the questions inside were entirely different from the others, noting that they seemed crafted by a different person. While still difficult, these questions were designed to ignite profound interest. He decided to use his understanding trait to analyze them thoroughly, planning to infuse their solutions into the paper. As he channeled mana into the paper, magical energy surged, indicating he was actively solving the questions. The energy began to materialize, forming a glowing hand adorned with swirling light. From the waist up, an ethereal figure of a woman with long, flowing white hair emerged. Gazing upward, a ghostly girl floated before Deculein, who stared in awe. He marveled aloud that this exam allowed students to solve questions, provide correct answers, and witness an illustration materialize. He described how the colors represented the elements, and the harmonized solution would evoke amazement, deeming it the most fitting question for the subject understanding pure elemental magic. Touching his chest, he admitted to feeling an instinctive jealousy, certain that the original Deculein would recognize the perfection of this question, a beauty he himself could not have crafted. Gazing at the spectral woman, Deculein wondered aloud who she could be, captivated by the mystery of her identity. In the opulent private office of the Imperial University Tower's Board of Directors, Chairman received intriguing news. It was an order from Berkt concerning the Red Box or the Blood Shroud. If this were a game, most would have wagered 10 million or even 100 million elnas that the order would mandate the suppression of the Red Box. Yet, the outcome was the opposite, and Deculein's vehement contribution to this surprising result made it all the more astonishing. Reading the news, the chairman remarked aloud how interesting it was that the discussion about the Blood Shrouds had turned out this way due to a strong aversion to their suppression. She noted that this development was unexpected, particularly for Professor Deculein. Setting the news down, Her intense gaze swept the room as she addressed everyone present, emphasizing that this applied to all of them as well.